Well, welcome to Ask a Dog podcast. My name is Dr. Jorge Sanchez. I'm your host for today. Today, I want to be able to go over something called losing your healthcare insurance. That is scary business. And so Ask a Dog podcast was inspired by coronavirus and during a time when we just needed some help on talking about our health. And so that's where it came from. Now, if you want to submit some questions to go over the show, please go and download the Medici app. That's Medici. And download the app, look me up, and you could just ask me any kind of random question. And so now this is going to be pretty important for those who are like, man, I lost my job. I lost my health insurance. What do I do? What do I do when I don't have healthcare insurance? And now, if you're like a college student, you're like, whatever, you're. But when you're a little bit older, and particularly when you have got kids, and you're like, what in the world am I going to do? Because that healthcare insurance really comes in handy, and when you don't have it, you kind of notice it. And so, the first thing that I would do is that if you know that like you're going to lose your insurance, if you have a heads up, I would for sure like see your doctor and get the testing done, the screenings, the colonoscopies, or even the stool blood tests, get the mammograms and all the stuff that's needed for like just to make sure that everything's okay. So I would do that, and then you can ask nicely your physician for maybe like for your routine medications for an extended supply, in hopes that maybe you'll regain your insurance. But that would be the first thing. The second thing is that you might want to consider researching and going on to healthcare.gov and looking at what's available in the open market. And there's going to be some more affordable options through the health insurance marketplace. And so I'd go on there, and through that, you can actually apply for Medicaid if you qualify, as well as for CHIP for kids who need it. And then the other option is signing up for COBRA. And so COBRA helps you keep your job-based health plan going through COBRA. And so it's a federal law that allows you to keep it for, I believe, up to like 18 months or somewhere around there. So that the idea is that there's no like gap between going from one job to another, and there's no gap from one healthcare insurance to another. And so, but if, and I would look into the cost of that as well. I mean, typically when someone loses their health insurance because they lost their job, so they're not in a place of spending money, so the idea of spending money on something at all, if it costs anything, but I still look at it, right? I'd still try to research it to determine if it's right for you or not. And so now, if you, a lot of people have lost their healthcare insurance, a lot of people have lost their jobs. And so what do you do after that? In my mind, I look at the three main things that cause medical problems here in this country. So it's going to be cardiovascular disease problems, there's going to be cancer problems, and then there's going to be accidents. So those are the big three. And believe it or not, those big three you can actually prevent these things. And so with the first two, I'll talk about is going to be all the things that we know, right, to do. So if you have no insurance, or if you're about to lose your insurance, and it's probably, and this is during a pandemic too, by the way, I would take all the precautions of, what I would do is actually listen at all of my podcasts that I've done prior and like go with that. So that's what I would do initially, is go back to like, what are the symptoms of COVID? How can I prevent coronavirus from happening to me? How can I prevent getting COVID during this pandemic because I don't have any healthcare insurance, right? So that would be like the first thing. Although there are some places that are offering free testing, I was reading through the newspaper, is that there are some places that are actually offering it for free. And so, but even if you don't have healthcare insurance, you might still be able to get it done. Okay, so you've heard me say this over and over again. This is during this pandemic, that this is the healthiest we need to be. If there's any time at all for us to be the healthiest we've ever been in our entire lives, it is not back when we were in college, when we were riding bikes and walking everywhere, because most of us will say that that's kind of the healthiest we've ever been in our entire lives. It is today. Today really needs to be the health. If we're going to make this pandemic, and if we lose our healthcare insurance, today is the day for us to be the healthiest we've ever been. And what happens is the opposite. We're like, when we lose our job, when we lose our health insurance, we get stressed out. We get so stressed out, and we start making bad choices on our health, either going back to smoking, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit, going to alcohol, right? Which is kind of what I did for a little bit, right? So like I started drinking a little bit too much because I was stressed out. We were taking care of my mom who had developed cancer, and the pandemic had hit us, and so I turned to alcohol. I'm not ashamed to say that. I mean, I wasn't to the point of like not being responsible, right? So like I was always responsible. I went to work. I never was intoxicated when I went to work, right? Don't report to the Texas Medical Board that somehow Dr. Sanchez is some alcoholic. No, don't say that. Like that never happened. On my time off, I struggled a bit, and because like it's a way to like de-stress, and it's easy when you're stressed out to like just consume a little extra. And the other thing that happens is just eating poorly, just eating bad, right? So not eating your vegetables, just eating fast food. And for a lot of reasons too, it can be because of cost, right? You can say like, well, like I don't have any money coming in, and I'm just going to go to McDonald's. And there are, the first thing I would do is to try to become like to distress, to eliminate stress, and look through my podcast that I went over about anxiety during COVID. So briefly, it includes, and these are all free, by the way, right? So like it's going to be like meditating, right? So that's number one. Really getting down good sleep habits. So that's going to be lavender oil, reading a book for 1 hour before bedtime, getting 8 hours of sleep, and doing all. And a lot of times people will say, well, I tried that, it didn't work. I read a book before bedtime and it didn't work. I tried the lavender oil and it didn't work. I did all these things, it didn't work. And I tell people, do it anyway, because these are good habits, and you need to do these continuously, and you got to do it for a good 2 weeks to 2 months to really make any benefit. And also, like if you're stressed out, eliminating caffeine, and eliminating alcohol. So if you eliminate caffeine and alcohol, and you do the lavender oil before bedtime, you do the reading a book 1 hour before bedtime, and you do all these things, and you're going to sleep better than you would normally. And if you get up in the morning and try to get up a little earlier, and if you do some kind of exercise, any kind of exercise, but just stick with it. Like, don't give up on it. Just do it every single day. I promise you that you're going to be able to manage the stress that has come with not having a job and with losing your healthcare insurance. And when you're able to manage, you can think a little more clearly. Then you can make like better choices. You can say like, you know what? I don't want to smoke. I'm not going to because your stress has been managed well through exercise and sleeping 8 hours. You can make that decision to say, I'm going to quit smoking, or you can say, I'm not going to drink as much as I normally do. And you can make good food choices. The stress, you don't eat your emotions. If you're stressed out, you're not going to be eating a big pint of ice cream like I did when I was in residency, or like, give in to like eating into like junk food, or like chips and dips and all, cookies and cakes and pies and ice cream, and saying like going to the things that feel good but that cause problems for your health. because I see sadly people out like after the fact, like after they've neglected their body and they finally get a job, maybe like several months later, and I see the weight gain, I see the diabetes that has incurred, I see the high blood pressure that has incurred, and it's awful. And so if you so that would be my advice is to do that. And obviously, I think the cost of food is expensive here in the United States. I wish it wasn't for like healthy food. But there's some like good things you can do, like for example, like avoiding the red meats. Okay, so like red meat's expensive. So like if we're on a tight budget, then like don't buy as much red meat, which is actually good for your health anyway. Alcohol it can be expensive. So like if you don't have the money, then don't spend money on alcohol. And so because if you buy red meat and you buy alcohol, then there isn't any money left over, right, to like buy the vegetables, etc. So they sell these frozen vegetables that are in these big bags. So I'd buy frozen. I buy frozen vegetables because they're more affordable. And if you just do that, and also the foods that are like the dips and the snackings and the cookies, you don't need those anyway, right? You don't need those. And so just don't give in into that. And so that would be basically about like most of what I have to say today. So I'm running a little late today, so it'll be a short audio thing. But if you lose your insurance, like be the healthiest you've ever been, because you need to. I also forgot. The other thing is like not doing any. Don't get hurt like physically. So like the number 3 cause of morbidity is going to be car accidents, and so getting in a car and getting in an accident while you don't have healthcare insurance is a big deal. And so I would go the speed limit. I would I would minimize the number of times you have to get in the car and to travel, and because one, it's saving you money on gas. And and number 2 is that it's helping you with the reduce your risk of getting in a car accident. And so just you do not need that. And just like if you can walk to the corner store, if you can walk to the grocery store, or bicycling is kind of a mixed bag. If you have a safe place to ride a bike, and you just watch some videos about how to ride safely, then you can actually, that could be a lot better for you. So where it's like you're getting the exercise as well. And so those are the things that I would recommend. And for sure, while you're uninsured, is to be healthy. Look into some of the options on the Healthcaregov websites. See if you qualify for the Medicaid or for marketplace insurance plans, or for CHIP for your kids, or if you need COBRA. So I would do that, and then I would get screened for while you have your insurance. Go ahead and get the stuff done that you need to get done before you lose it, and just go from there. So anyway, well, hey, my name is Dr. Jorge Sanchez. If you have any ideas for me to go over to talk about, then download the Medici app. That's MEDICI. And you can look me up through there and submit questions and say, hey, can you go over this? And I think I'll go over caffeine next time. Somebody sent me a request to talk about that, so I'll put on the list of things to go over. And so hopefully you guys are going to start, picking up some good habits. And just stay strong. I know it is tough. I know it's hard. Like, this is the hardest. I don't know to some degree, give yourself a break, right? So like, we're in the middle of a freaking pandemic. Give yourself a break. This is hard, and it's okay to recognize that. And somehow I think that if we recognize that it's hard, then we just just give ourselves a break. And so I think that just take a deep breath, know that a lot of people are going through the same situation, and start praying and asking God, says, Lord, show me what to do. Help me, because I don't know what else to do. Which I should have said that earlier about how to alleviate stress, is pick up your faith, and to renew your faith, and to do the disciplines that not only exercising and sleeping, but also like renewing the faith that you are given either as a child, or if you do not have a faith, to say maybe I need to reconsider, because having like a greater perception of things and to know that when things are difficult, that God is here to help, then and there's a lot of reasons to question that. I understand, but to have faith, if you read the book called what's that book called? Blue Zones. It talks about people with faith are able to overcome tremendous barriers and struggles and stress, and so I think that it's time. It's time to start doing that. And so, but the thing is, like, just do not give up. Do not give up. Do not give up. If you lose your health insurance, you can still listen to my podcast. There's some kind of like connection to healthcare somehow, and this is for free, right? And so you can like just do that, and hopefully that helps. Well, y'all have a fantastic day. So, again, download the app, Medici app, and send me some ideas, and then hope you enjoy this topic. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.